You never know how far one idea will go, and who it will impact. Like her family, their community, our planet. At Deloitte, we measure ideas by the impact they'll have. Because why work so hard to find solutions if it doesn't make a difference in people's lives? Why connect, or innovate, or engineer anything, if not to make an impact that actually matters? No matter who you are, where you are, or where you're going, Deloitte is there, and there, and even there. We are dedicated to help people and organizations solve problems, to know faster, to grow farther, to go from red to black to green, creating impact where it matters most.
Good morning, and welcome to the SID-US 2023 Annual Conference. I know there's a lot of people still out making their way in here, but we are going to get started because we have a lot to cover today. I'm Catherine Rafelson, and I'm the president of SID-US, and I'm really pleased to be welcoming you to our second hybrid conference. And we're really excited to be here in person in DC and online from your homes, your offices, cafes, around the country and around the world. So welcome. And look around you. We're expecting record crowd today, more than we've ever had at any SID-US event. I think we're expecting more than 1,000 people in person and another 1,500 online, and we're just thrilled to have all of you. Our in-person exhibit hall is maxed out with 90 sponsors. Breakout panels in person and online, and we have 100 speakers over the course of the day, and none of this would be possible without our sponsors. So I want to just call out a few of our sponsors. I want to mention our diamond sponsors. We're super grateful to you: Bixel, Creative Associates, and Deloitte. And I want to mention our platinum sponsors: Apt Associates, ACD Ivoca, Chemonics, DAI, DT Global, Nathan, a Cadmus company, Plan International USA, RTI, Save the Children, Tech Change, and Tetra Tech, and our gold sponsors: AIR, FHI 360, Oxford Policy Management, and URC. So if we could just give them a round of applause. Thank you. I also want to mention, for those joining us online, that we have options this year for French, Spanish, and ASL interpretation, as well as English closed captioning. And that is thanks to our accessibility sponsor, Making Sense, who helped to make this possible. So thank you. I also want to thank our 2023 Annual Conference Committee. As you know, we're a tiny team. As I think most of you know that. We're very small, and there are many moving parts to this kind of hybrid event, and we couldn't possibly do it without the support of our board and our conference committee. So I just want to name them, and they're in the room, and please thank them if you see them: Ann Simmons-Benton, Alexis Bonnell, Ben Fate, John Glover, Garen Hansen, Chizi Igwe, Bobby Jefferson, Mark Johnson, Sylvia McGray, Mike Shanley, Nick Kessler, Lauren Schultz, and of course the chair of this year's conference committee, Jay Knott. So thank you to all of you. Jay, speaking of Jay, is a longtime board member of SID-US and has served on our executive committee, and he chairs our governance committee, which helped to navigate us through our recent name change, among other things. Jay worked for USAID for many years in legislative and public affairs and as mission director in Mozambique and in Jordan, among other things. And he was chief business officer at Apt Associates after leaving USAID and before joining the Environmental Defense Fund as senior executive vice president and chief operating officer, where he is today. So, US members, SID-US members and friends, I give you our 2023 annual conference chair, Jay Knott.
Good morning, everyone. They didn't have coffee out there? I thought they had. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. All right. We're going to have a great day today. As you will know, the theme of our conference this year is Power Shift. It's all about what's happening in our world today and what's going to be happening in the next decade, as we see that things are changing in every way, on every continent, and certainly with all the people with whom we want to work with in our daily lives. Things are moving quickly, whether it's climate change or health implications or artificial intelligence or localization or whatever you have it. We're in a particularly dynamic period in our industry, and this conference today is an opportunity for you to crystal ball a little bit while hearing from a whole bunch of people who can help you add some clarity to that crystal ball. So the theme of the day is Power Shift. We hope you like the theme because you chose it. The theme was not just an invention of our committee, but we came up with a few alternatives, and we did some public polling, both on the SID website, on LinkedIn, or what have you. And so we hope you like it, again, because you chose it. So again, this is going to be a wonderful day. We think this is going to be the largest conference SID has ever had. More than 1,000 people are registered to come in. We'll have even more probably online, virtually. And so this is perhaps the largest gathering of this sort in this place that we've ever seen. It's also a particular opportunity for each and every one of you. I am convinced that everyone in here, each individual, knows something that no one else knows. And so I want to offer a challenge to everyone here. Over the course of the day, try and meet at least 5 people whom you haven't met before. 5 people, again, 1,000 people out there, pick 5, right? 5 at least, and come away with at least 5 things that you didn't know before. I think if you can do that, as a minimum, you will have enriched yourselves in ways that will reverberate as you move forward into the future. So, again, Power Shift, big deal theme, lots of people here, crystal ball, but with some information behind it. Challenge. Go out there and meet somebody and learn something 5 times over. With that, I want to take an opportunity to welcome the SID-US Board Chair, Wade Warren. Thank you. Have a good day.
Good morning, everybody. It's so great to see so many of you in the room, and welcome to everyone who's online. As everyone keeps saying, this is the largest conference that SID has ever had, with about 1,000 in the room and another 1,000 or so watching virtually. My name is Wade Warren. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer for International Development at Deloitte, and I am proud to be the chair of the board of the Society for International Development U.S. chapter. I want to do just a couple of things this morning. I want to thank some people. To start with, Jay, you first. Jay and I have known each other, I looked it up when we both started at USA, we've known each other for 30 years now. Yes, that's a long time. 15 of those we worked together at USAID, and I've always been an admirer, Jay. So thank you for everything that you did to put this conference together. You had about a dozen or so people I know working with you on the conference committee, and it really shows. So thank you. I think the huge crowd that we have today is a testament to all the planning and the promotion that went into the conference, but also to the theme, which emphasizes the way our field is changing with the advent of new and younger and more diverse voices and decision makers in our sector. So thank you to all of you who organized the conference. Catherine, I don't know what to say. You're positive, you're practical, you're tireless. It goes without saying that none of this could happen without you, and I know you've been under a lot of stress over the last 48 hours or so. So I just wanted to say thank you, and thank you, yeah. And thank you also to the very hardworking SID staff. I always say the SID staff is small but mighty. It's amazing what a 7-person staff with a handful of interns can accomplish. So we're really grateful to all of you. I talked to Catherine last night, and she said she sounded a little stressed. And I said, it sounds like you could use a drink. And she said, tomorrow. And she said, I need a drink right now. There was nothing I could do about that, but I got you later. And then finally, JR and Catherine already mentioned the board, but the SID board is the best board in town, I'm convinced. I'm so proud to be the chair of the board. We represent large and small NGOs, for-profit companies, universities, and the U.S. government. So if I could ask the board members who are here present to please stand, and we can recognize you. All right, with thank you said, I want to offer just 2 quick updates on SID before I introduce our keynote speaker. The first is to let you know that at this conference last year, we launched SID-US as a rebranded organization with a national reach. And I'm happy to report that we're making good on our aspirations, and we're now holding virtual and in-person events across the country. And second, I wanted to note that earlier this month, on May 5th, SID signed a memorandum of understanding with USAID to work together with historically black colleges and universities and other minority-serving institutions to help minority students along their career trajectories and to promote international development as a career choice. We're very proud of that alliance. So finally, I want to take a moment to tell you a little bit about this morning's keynote speaker. I'm so pleased to welcome to the stage for our opening address, Congresswoman Young Kim. Congresswoman Kim represents California's 40th congressional district, which encompasses suburbs to the southeast of Los Angeles and the beautiful Santa Ana Mountains. She's currently in her 2nd term in Congress. She was first elected in 2020. At that time, she, along with Michelle Steele and Marilyn Strickland, became the first 3 Korean-American women ever elected to the U.S. Congress. Representative Kim was born in Incheon, South Korea, and spent her childhood in Seoul. She and her family moved to the United States when she was 13. She attended high school in Hawaii and went to college at the University of Southern California. Before entering politics, Congresswoman Kim had a successful career in business, in banking and in clothing manufacturing. And she ran successfully for the California State Assembly in 2014. In Congress, Representative Kim serves on the Committee on Financial Services and, of more direct relevance for us, on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, or HFAC as we affectionately call it. There she sits on the Subcommittee on Africa, and she serves as the chair of the Subcommittee on the Indo-Pacific, which is a position that could hardly be more important in this era of high tension in international affairs. Congresswoman Kim is, in my opinion, the kind of representative the United States needs more of. She is a shrewd businesswoman, she understands the international arena, and she's not afraid to reach across the aisle and make compromises that are for the good of our country. So welcome to the stage, Congresswoman Kim.
Good morning, everyone. Wow, I want to first thank SID, your chairman of the SID-US. Thank you so much for that kind introduction. And I also want to thank your SID conference this year, Jay. Thank you so much. I am taking your challenge of meeting 5 people before I leave this room so that I can be inspired and learn from every one of you about the great work that you do, especially in this arena. But I can't tell you how wonderful and honored I am to be with you all this morning. And this, I understand, is the second annual conference after COVID. And this is the largest conference with over 2,000 people, 1,000 here, 1,000 online. So that's really amazing. So thanks, Catherine and your team, for your hard work for putting this conference together. You've made something amazing workout. And that's only possible because, you know what? Woman can lead and woman can deliver. So kudos to Catherine. I want to thank all your team members and the board members as well for making it happen. But as Catherine mentioned, this will not be possible without the support of generous sponsors who have really opened up their pocketbooks or corporate pocketbooks or private pocketbooks. However it did it, you did it. So thank you so much. I want to thank my former colleague and longtime dear friend, Amy Porter, and her colleague, Porter Delaney of the Kyle House group for making my participation in today's annual conference possible as well. And my colleagues in Congress and I greatly value the critical work that you all do, whether it's implementing programs in the field, conducting research on new development innovations, or developing new policy proposals to guide our U.S. government foreign assistance programs. And in my role as a chairwoman of the Indo-Pacific Subcommittee on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, I am a committed supporter of efficient and effective foreign assistance programs that provide humanitarian relief, improve health outcomes, and generate economic growth for the United States and its partners. And I believe that successful foreign assistance programs are directly serving the national interest of the United States by strengthening democracy, free markets, and rule of law across the globe. To this end, I recently teamed up with my Democratic Congressman, Adam Smith, to serve as a co-chair of the Congressional Caucus on Effective Foreign Assistance. And the caucus looks forward to working with your community to bring topics and ideas to Congress on ways that we can get the most out of the existing foreign assistance investments. And I want to use my time with you today to talk about a few global development and health legislative priorities that I've been working to advance through Congress, and I know this is the area that your community has an interest in. The first bill that I want to discuss is one that we were able to get signed into law late last year, the Global Malnutrition Prevention and Treatment Act. And I was honored to be a co-sponsor of that bill with my Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman, Michael McCall, and with Ranking Member Greg Mix and my Democratic colleague, Christy Houlihan. Malnutrition remains the biggest killer of children under the age of 5 globally, accounting for nearly 50% of 5 million children under 5 who die each year. So the purpose of GMPTA is to strengthen USAID's tools and mandates to combat global malnutrition and, most importantly, to increase coverage rates for the most evidence-based malnutrition prevention and treatment interventions in a set of focus countries. And these interventions are known as Power 4, and they include prenatal vitamins, breastfeeding support, vitamin A supplementation, and ready-to-use therapeutic foods known as RUTF. I also joined Congressman Joaquin Castro to introduce the Fostering Innovation and Global Development Act, FIGDA. This bill is focused on USAID's tools to advance innovation and maximize cost effectiveness through investments in the most evidence-based and proven solutions. We all should be proud of the fact that the United States government, and USAID in particular, is the largest provider of the global humanitarian, development, and health assistance to the tune of more than $35 billion a year. However, we must work together to make these dollars go further by partnering with private sector and investing in new and improved development technologies and services that supercharge the results that we achieve with our foreign assistance programs. The FICTA bill puts into statute the critical innovation policy and investment authorities that we need all across all of the USAID, led by Chief Innovation Officer and Office of the Chief Economist. The FICTA bill also recognizes that the U.S. should not and cannot carry this burden alone. The legislation, therefore, recognizes the strong performance record of the Global Innovation Fund over the last decade, and it calls on USAID to leverage its innovation investments by renewing our funding partnership with GIF. Thanks to the support that it has received from USAID and its many, many other donors, GIF has supported 61 investments in social enterprises in 36 low and middle, and these investments are expected to benefit 143 million people by 2032. So I commend the USAID Administrator Samantha Power's efforts to make USAID a more catalytic agency that partners and leverages the vast expertise and resources of the private sector. We know that private sector capital flows dwarf public sector foreign assistance, and that the only truly sustainable path from poverty to prosperity is through private sector-led growth. USAID must evolve into an agency that is more capable of understanding and partnering with the private sector, as well as appreciating and harnessing the huge developmental potential from market forces and for-profit endeavors. For these reasons, I'm also a strong supporter of the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation and the Millennial Challenge Corporation. These are the two agencies that seek to eradicate poverty through advancing economic growth. The DFC has huge potential, both to expand and improve its development impact and to serve as a critical tool in advancing U.S. foreign policy interests across the globe. And likewise, the MCC also represent the best of American values by building multi-year compact partnerships with countries that embrace our ideas of democracy, free markets, and respect for freedom. So my colleagues in Congress and I will be working on some critical reforms to DFC and MCC this congressional session in order to expand the reach of these two agencies to more countries and to expand their tools to achieve the development impact. You know, I'm also one of the few women, although it's increasing in the numbers in the Congress. I also view our foreign policy and foreign affairs and foreign assistance through the lens of empowering women and girls. In countries where women and girls thrive, economic prosperity and political stability follow. Therefore, we must put women and girls at the center of our global development and health strategies. Thank you. Last Congress, in the 117th Congress, I was a co-lead of the bipartisan Reach Every Mother and Child, REACH Act. And this year, USAID is celebrating the 10th year anniversary of Acting on the Call, which is a strategy to end preventable maternal and child deaths by year 2030. The REACH Act will empower USAID to maintain our leadership in global maternal and child health efforts and make up critical ground that was lost during the COVID-19 pandemic. And the U.S. has long been a leader in maternal and child health investments with a particularly strong record of performance and progress over the last 3 decades. Global under 5 deaths fell from 12.6 million in 1990 to 5.3 million in 2019. And while during the same time period, maternal deaths decreased from 532,000 to 295,000 annually. The COVID-19 pandemic both revealed the critical importance of early development of vaccines, diagnostics, and therapeutics for the highest threat pathogens, and the pandemic also revealed how a regional or global disease outbreak can wreak havoc on the full spectrum of global development and health programs. I supported the Securing America from Future Epidemics Act, SAFE Act, which was enacted last Congress. And this provided the authorization for the U.S. contributions to the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, CEPI. CEPI has played a key critical leadership role in advancing the development of longer-lasting and more effective COVID-19 vaccines, while also working on a library of vaccines to protect the global population from future epidemic threats that cut across more than 25 vital families. So, I also have championed on the importance of Gavi, the Global Vaccine Alliance, which has provided routine immunizations to nearly 1 billion children over the last 20 years and has been responsible for preventing more than 16 million child deaths. As we celebrate the 20-year anniversary of the PEPFAR program and Congress is working to provide a 5-year PEPFAR reauthorization, we must also keep our focus on the strategy to end the HIV and AIDS pandemic. To that end, I have partnered with my colleague, Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs, in calling for continued robust investments in the International AIDS Vaccine Initiative, which is leading an international effort to develop an effective AIDS vaccine, which is the ultimate solution to ending this pandemic that has claimed nearly 85 million lives. So let me close by saying thank you, Catherine, for your team and for the entire SID team, the SID, Society for International Development, for inviting me to be part of this very important conference today. You are all leading such critical work across the globe, and it's my honor to be with you, and I sincerely hope we can continue to work together to find ways to advance the U.S. leadership in global development and health. You can count on me to be one of your strongest voice and advocate in the halls of Congress. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman Kim. I wonder if you or your family could even possibly have conceived when you were 13 and came to the U.S. that you would be leading the country on so many extremely important things and partnering with all of us on such important work. Really a fabulous story. Thank you. I want to tell everybody a little bit about the day ahead. We have so much going on, as I've mentioned before. I'm not going to be able to explain it all to you. There are people here who can explain it to you, and of course, it's all online, and hopefully all of you in person hope have gotten on our conference platform. If you have not, I urge you to do so, because there's a lot there. There's a lot there you can come back to later. And there's so much more than what you're seeing here today. So everyone online, you're going to have the option at 10 of going to any of 5 different concurrent breakout sessions. You'll also have a virtual exhibit hall, discussion boards, and a lot more, so please explore the platform. Everyone here in DC, the exhibit hall opens at 10, and we have a networking break at that time as well. But this year we're also going to have, by popular demand, we're also going to have virtual viewing rooms. So if you would like to watch any of the virtual sessions taking place, you can do so. They're going to be down the hall. Those of you who know this building, they're going to be in the hemisphere and continental rooms. And we have handy floor stickers to guide you. So look down, and there'll be floor stickers pointing you to the virtual viewing rooms. They're not huge because we anticipate that most that are here in person want to be here in person networking, but there is that option for you. There will be coffee shortly just outside this room, but we also this year have a sponsored lounge thanks to Church World Service, Food for the Hungry, and IBTCI, and that is off the end of the exhibit hall. And there'll be coffee there all day long. There are chairs to sit, and there'll also be a monitor in there to show a few things, but also show some of what's going on in here for people who'd like to hang out there for a bit. We're going to have some peer networking sessions with our workgroup co-chairs and others in various spaces above the atrium. There's one, those of you who are on the stairs, if you kept going up, that's one of our peer networking spaces. And then at 11 o'clock, we'll have another round of virtual breakouts, but we'll also have our in-person breakouts on health and food security. Those take place across the hall behind registration. Then we're going to reconvene in here for lunch for our main stage session. And I will tell you now that we are, I've said it before, we're expecting a huge crowd. We have a huge crowd. This room is going to get full. So I'm going to urge you all to please come and sit in the front. Don't congregate in the back at lunch. We're going to need to fill every single seat. And at lunch, we have a really interesting session. It's called Power Shift, Future World. It's going to be focusing on how geopolitics, artificial intelligence, and climate change are affecting international development. And I really hope that you will plan to come back for that. After lunch, we have 2 more in-person breakouts and some more virtual sessions, followed by a break in person and more virtual sessions for all of you online, and a chance here to see any exhibits you may have missed or hit the sponsored lounge. And then finally, at the end of the day, our closing session. We have a lot. Do hope you plan to stay all day. For our closing session here in this room on the main stage, at 4, we're going to have several ambassadors, including the ambassador from Ukraine, the ambassador from Mozambique, and Vanuatu. And they're going to be discussing challenges their countries are facing. And then we're going to have a closing keynote by Jay Shambaugh, who's the U.S. Treasury's Undersecretary for Foreign Relations. I think it's a really interesting time to be hearing from the U.S. Treasury. And then you really have to stay till the end of the day, because we'll have virtual networking online, and here in person we'll have a reception across the hall with an open bar sponsored by Highlight Social Solutions and URC. But before all of that, please don't forget to check out the finalists in our innovation competition, which Accenture has sponsored this year, and vote for the best in show. You have to do this online, so again, those of you here in person, get on the platform, check out the innovations, and vote. We have judges, a panel of esteemed judges voting for the winner, but we're also going to have a popular vote, so you all can weigh in. There's also a panel where the innovation finalists are going to be presenting their innovations, and that's at 2 o'clock today, virtual. So please do weigh in on that. This year we did a little differently, and the innovations are really ideas and not specifically projects. And it'll be really interesting. So I urge you to take a moment to do that or attend their session. Also, we have a points system. We're going to be announcing the winner of our points contest at the same time that we announce the winner of our innovations competition. If you don't know what that is, get online and find out. It rewards those who engage the most with our virtual platform. So we want you to go and engage. But first, I want to close with a 3-minute video, one of the winners of our Lightning Talk contest, Wawiri Munyi from Management Sciences for Health on country-owned, country-led programming.
My name is Wawira Munyi. I work for Management Sciences for Health in Kenya. I'm going to speak about country-owned, country-led programming. Several years back, a donor and his team traveled to a country in Western Africa with the aim of identifying a project which, if successfully implemented, could contribute to the community's well-being. They looked around and observed that the women were traveling for many miles to the river to fetch water for domestic use, which to the donor translated into a lot of time wasted. They decided to dig a well nearer the village to ease the burden for the women. Now this they did, and after a few months of completion, they traveled back to the country. And to their utter surprise, the women had continued to go to the river. Upon inquiring why, the women responded that going to the river was the only opportunity they had to socialize. This brings me to my point. If donors could take the time to understand a community's and host government's priorities, their projects would better target the needs of the community, which would translate into community buy-in, community ownership, and in the final analysis, sustainability. When we have a sense of ownership to something, we feel the need to take care of it and do not let it dilapidate. Now back to my story. If that donor had taken the time to understand what the community needed, did a rapid needs assessment at the community level, they would have learned that what the community needed the most at the time was a health facility. And while they were busy building a well, a woman was giving birth at home without the help of a trained health worker. And in some cases, a woman and her unborn child died in the process of delivery. If there had been a health facility which was easily accessible, lives could have been saved. When communities come together, they mobilize resources to ensure that a health facility remains functional even when the donor exits, because they know that this is our health facility and we need it. Governments have matured enough to lead and manage local programming. And I'm very excited that the USAID has realized this and has been championing localization. This need not be a USAID agenda, rather a global donor community agenda. We need country-led, country-owned programming, especially in the health sector. We may just end up saving that mother, saving that child during delivery. Thank you very much.
We have 2 more Lightning Talk winners that will be playing in our other sessions later today. So you can look forward to that. So please go, enjoy, ask us questions anytime in person or online, and see you back here midday.